AI does use data, so it's using stats that way. But is there this human element that, let's say, we get rid of the GM, we get rid of the scout, that would be missing, that's necessary and vital?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, certainly the human element, the emotional intelligence, the interpersonal relationships. I don't think we're even close to that yet. But from a pure, let's call it statistical analysis of who do we draft based on medical history, based on statistical performance, based on, you could go all the way back and look at genetics. I mean, there's all kinds of things you can look at to determine who you should draft, who you should trade for. And I'm positive that there'll be more and more and more reliance on machine learning for that. But just in terms of motivating Brittany as a player, well, you need someone that can get into your heart and soul and figure out how to get you to reach that ultimate, let's call it, maximization of your potential.
So, to your point, is shifting then to all AI a smart strategy in sports?
Well, I think you certainly have to use it. You can't deny it. It's certainly helpful. It's just a question of how far you go. I mean, I really could see a time in the future where a very wealthy technologist owns a team and decides to implement all of this from the top down and really does have almost an R2D2 walking around with him or her all day long, making decisions based on machine learning. I could see that. Personnel decisions, decisions of that nature. Now, motivating people, getting to their heart, bringing out their very best, that might be something different. I mean, listen, I always like scream and yell when I see things happening from machine learning in baseball. For example, last year, Clayton Kershaw had a perfect game going into the 8th inning. 6 more outs, he has a perfect game. Guess what happens? Machine learning says he has to be taken out of the game. They took him out of the game. I almost threw something through the television. Everybody wanted to see him pitch a perfect game. What happens? He's out. So there's going to be times where we just don't want those machines to take over, Brittany.
I know, and to your point, I mean, I'm thinking about my beloved Phillies this year and how stats alone, they should not have touched anywhere near the World Series. I mean, they were 87 to 75 in the regular season. So relying on stats to me doesn't seem just to be enough.
I agree. And you remember the Wizard of Oz?
Hmm.
Remember the Tin Man?
Of
The Tin
course.
Man didn't have a heart, Brittany. And I don't think any machines have a heart. And a heart is what determines whether someone can be really, really good or a champion. And, you can never underestimate the heart of a champion.
I 100% agree. I mean, I'm from the town of Rocky, Philadelphia sports fans. I mean, no one has a heart as big as a Philadelphia sports fan, so I totally see your point. But what has the response been already to AI elements when it comes to sports?
Well, there's been obviously a little bit of conflict between the new computer scientist on the block in the franchise and the traditionalists. The ones that have the experience in the sport, the business intuition in the sport. I mean, do you think Jerry West, who has picked so many different great players out over the years, will ever believe that a computer can analyze a player better than he can? I don't think so. So there's always going to be some element of humanity involved here. It's just a matter of how much. And it's all going to rest in the hands of the owner because the owner has control over that.
Where do you see is the next logical step, even like in the immediate future, as well as maybe in the not so distant future? I mean, you're talking about a GM as well as a scout as two robots coming at you, shouting stats in your ear. Do you think that is a realistic future that we can look forward to?
Well, I mean, think of it like the football player with the radio in his helmet. I mean, so the quarterback comes to the line and he lines up, and there's someone in the box upstairs talking to him, saying, this is the play you should run. If the defense checks and moves to a different formation, then he has a backup play. So I would think that R2D2 could whisper in his ear the best play, probably better than some human being could, and it would be a direct to consumer communication. There wouldn't be any middleman. So I can see that happening. As far as the head coach getting dumped, I don't think so. I think the head coach is that person that's got to bring out the heart in the team. I don't know. We talked about Deion Sanders and what an evangelist he is and all the things he does to get people to play at their highest and best level. I think that motivator, the person that gets to the heart of a champion, I don't think we're ever going to see that go away.
It sounds like once they can put heart and empathy into AI, it could be game over.
Yeah, well, then it'll just be you, Brittany. It'll be you. It'll be you.
I don't think anyone wants that. No one wants me leading their team. I can assure you that much. But Leonard, it's always so much fun talking to you. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you. It's always a pleasure and look forward to another one.